Hello, welcome to another midday recipe with me, Chef Day. Today, we're going to do something healthy. Well, okay, all of our recipes are fairly healthy, but we've had quite a run of sweet treats. So today we're not going to have a sweet treat, but in fact we're going to have a salad. So we're going to try and have something more summery. The sun is finally shining. So I'm going to show you guys how to make a really simple recipe today with jackfruit. You may have experimented with jackfruit. If you have, please let us know what you've made. You can comment on the recipe that I'm doing today. You could ask me questions as I cook. You can cook along with me because we did actually release the ingredients list and the equipments list in the community hub yesterday, so maybe people have had a chance to go and get the ingredients. I know quite a few people have tins of jackfruit at home that they've never used, so obviously like the jackfruit is the ingredient today that would be difficult to find, but I know that a lot of you already have them in your cupboard. So I'm going to get the live up on my computer here so that I can see your questions, and I can also make sure that we are the right way round today, which is always a help as well, but I would really like to see your questions. There we go. There we go. So please do just shout out. Let us know where you're tuning in from as well, because we love that. We really love that. So, okay, as I said, really simple recipe today. As ever, we do have a rainbow in the kitchen. We always have a rainbow in the kitchen. I made it ridiculously hard today by completely hiding it. So close your eyes. Just everyone, close your eyes for a second, okay? Okay, you've got them closed. You've got them closed. Okay, just give me 2 seconds. Where am I going to put it? Okay, where's it going to go? Where's it going to go? Okay, right, I might have to go up here. I don't even know if you guys can see it. No, you can't. Let's just say it's been a day and a half. I did spend all of last night and all of this morning putting all of our live recipes onto the website. It's still ongoing, it's still like a huge project, but I know that you guys are finding it really difficult to find our recipes on Facebook. Facebook just isn't good for that at all. So I've been working to put them onto our website. But once they're all on there, then we're going to hit the big red button and then they'll all be released and you'll be able to see them there all at the same time. So I will let you guys know in the community hub when that happens, but I apologise for my tiredness, but there's that good reason. There is a very good reason for it, and for me not doing my rainbow juice today. So sorry about that. Yes, you can open your eyes. Oh, it's going to be one of those shows today, isn't it? It is. Are you guys as sleepy as I am? Let me know. Okay, so Colleen. We've got Colleen here from New Jersey. Malcolm says, hi Chef, hello. Harry, good afternoon Scotland. Oh, lovely for you to join us. Where in Scotland, please? If you can let us know, that would be great. Sue, you've joined us again from Bingley. Dilemma today is you only have one tin of jackfruit, so would you want to make the fish pie or the salad? Okay, so Sue, I would say what you could do is you could do both, because this recipe only uses half a tin of jackfruit. So you could make an individual portion fish pie, jackfruit fish pie, and this. So you could actually do both. The sun is shining here, so I'm totally up for a salad at the moment rather than a jackfruit pie. Just see if we've got any more comments down here. Inna, thank you for joining us, and she says hello. Gloria, thank you for joining us again. Ingrid, thank you for joining us and being admin today. Always brilliant, always. Karen said, Karen has joined. Thank you for joining us again. Angela, can you open your eyes now? I hope you have opened your eyes now, because that would be like a really dull live. It would be a really dull recipe. Justine, defo be making and watching this after work. Good. Oh, Harry said it's from Preston Pans. Preston Pans? Is that right? on the East Coast near Edinburgh. Lovely, lovely. Anne, thank you for joining us again. Oh, she's from Edinburgh. Justine, the jackfruit fish pie was amazing. And Sue says, excellent plan, excellent plan. Okay, right. Here is the... I'm really rubbish at this. Maybe I'm better at finding them than I am at hiding them. There we go. All right, we just pop it there for today, and it can just poke out. There we go. We've just got like a little subtle one today, and you don't get any prizes for guessing this one because I totally ballsed it up. So anyway, Anton said, "What is the last ingredient, please? Because it's hidden by the lettuce." Yes, we will move that along. As pretty as it is, it can just sit there. So it is seeds or pine nuts. Okay, so let's take you through the ingredients that we're going to be using today. Really, really simple ingredients. It's a really versatile dish as well because essentially you can use it with any type of salad that you want to make with it, you know, whatever bits and pieces that you've got in your fridge. So our first ingredient will be our half a tin of jackfruit. This is the green, immature jackfruit, not the mature yellow stuff. So jackfruit can be eaten in 2 stages. So either when it's immature, so you'll see on the can it will say either immature or it might say green. So don't be confused by that. It means the same thing. It can be mixed with water, you know, it has water in there to keep it fresh, or it can be in brine. Using either is fine, but what I do find is that it can mean that the actual jackfruit meat is a slightly different texture. So when it's in brine, it's a lot softer. When it's in water, it's usually just like this. There is one brand where it's a bit tougher as well, so you know you've got to factor that in. So you know if you open your can and you're like, oh, this is actually like a bit harder than Days was, then you know don't worry about it too much. That just sometimes happens. Angela, good. Jeff, thank you for joining me. He's upstairs. He's meant to be doing some work. He blatantly isn't because he's watching the live. So, but like a lot of us who are working from home at the moment, you know, you got one eye on like House of Cards and the other eye on your computer screen and doing whatever you're meant to be doing. So, yes, so this is the green immature jackfruit, which is confusing because it's not green. It's not green. It's this very kind of like pale pink colour. And if it's in brine, it might be even more of an orangey tone to it. But it's still fine, still absolutely fine. It just means that when you are using it for something like this, you know, we're going to be using it to kind of replicate crab meat. You know, this is a very kind of typical recipe that you would get with crab meat, and so it has that look. So if you do really want to do like a straight substitution, then you will want it to be more this colour. So do find jackfruit that is in water, not in brine. And then there is mature jackfruit. Mature jackfruit is absolutely divine. It is my most favourite fruit ever, and I was fortunate enough to live in Malaysia for quite a few months, and it grows abundantly there. So I would just be able to pick up some of the yellow jackfruit from a fruit stand there and just eat it, you know, as I was walking up the street. Really fresh. You can get it tinned in this country, the yellow jackfruit. It tastes somewhere between mango and pineapple, but it's not as juicy. It's kind of like a little bit rubbery, almost like someone's made a candy out of it, almost like that. But that's really useful because it means you can walk along the street and eat it, and you don't get sticky juice everywhere. You know, which is kind of gross, and if you don't have a wet wipe with you, you know, you'll end up with sticky hands. It's also a great one for kids to have as well. Really nutritious. The only thing is that I would not recommend having the yellow jackfruit tinned because it really kind of tastes of tin, which isn't very pleasant. But there are some Asian supermarkets where you can find it frozen, and that way it's much nicer. So just buy it frozen and then defrost it and eat the actual yellow jackfruit that way. So you know, the whole like tin thing, if you guys have ever had, and this is an abomination to food, tinned boiled potatoes. Oh my god, they're disgusting. They're disgusting, they're disgusting. Like, even in like lockdown situation, you don't want those in your cupboard. Like, you just don't. You don't. Ugh, they're disgusting. And you know, there are some fruits and vegetables that can really take on the taste of tin. So, yeah, so if you're going to try it, please do try and find the frozen stuff, because otherwise you'll be eating the tin stuff and be like, what was they talking about? It's disgusting. Okay, Hannah, I loved fresh jackfruit. Me too, me too, me too. Okay, so on to the next ingredient. So we'll be using some aquafaba, straight from the can. Chickpeas, you know aquafaba. So this is another aquafaba recipe. We will be using oil. I'm going to use a mixture of rapeseed and walnut oil. Use some sort of neutral tasting oil, and by neutral I mean, you know, obviously the walnut has a flavour to it, but not anything really strong. So nothing like toasted sesame oil or extra virgin olive oil. You could use a little bit of those if you want to put that into it, but don't use it all, otherwise it will be really, really overpowering. And extra virgin olive oil in this recipe, if you just use that alone, it can be very, very bitter, so we don't want that. So that's the oil that we're using. We're using salt today. I just have some sea salt in here. I use either sea salt or Himalayan pink salt. And you will find that, you know, we use it at the beginning of the recipe, and then once you've made the final recipe, you might want to add some more flavour to it. You might want to add some more salt to it. And the reason why is that jackfruit is a really, really blank flavour. So this is my terminology for ingredients that don't really have much of a flavour of their own. We're using jackfruit really for the texture, not for the flavour. And so that means that we might have to impart more flavour on it. So whenever we use a blank ingredient, we really need to be getting the flavour from somewhere else. So if you guys have seen my burger recipe, which I recommend, you know, it's kept, we did a live of it, so it will be on the page and it will be in the community hub. I talk about blank flavours there as well, and it's a running theme through a lot of food, so it's a really, really good thing to get your head around if you can. Colleen said, is sunflower oil okay? Sunflower oil will be perfect. Anything like a sunflower oil, vegetable oil, you know, it's one of those things that I prefer not to use, because it could have palm oil in it, which, you know, I prefer not to use. Or if I do use it, then I want to know that it's from a responsible source. So I tend to go for sunflower oil, or a very light olive oil. A very light olive oil would also work really, really well, because it's still neutral tasting. So that would be fine. And then we're going to be using mustard. So we've got some Dijon mustard here today, and we also have some whole grain mustard. I really love my mustard, so I'm going to put quite a lot of it in, and I'm going to put both types as well, and just because I really like it and because I've got it in the cupboard. You can use either one or the other. If you're just going to use a whole grain mustard, then I would say that doesn't really have a huge amount of mustardy flavour in it, so maybe just amp it up a bit. You could also use mustard powder if you have that in your cupboard. And then we will be using some vinegar. So I've got some lovely apple cider vinegar here today. We'll be using that just to give it some bite and tartness. And then we've just got our salad veggies. So I've got a lovely cos lettuce here today, some pepper for colour and, you know, that kind of like zingy freshness that pepper gives us, and some lovely ridge cucumber. So cucumbers can be like fairly boring, but ridge cucumbers are lovely. It's the only cucumber that really like has, you know, a nicer flavour, and it has a really like decent flesh on it. It's much more fleshy than watery, so I really, really love using it in our salads. And here we've got some pine nuts, but you can use any of the bigger seeds as a substitute for the pine nuts, because I know pine nuts are really expensive. I just happen to have these in my cupboard because I'm a Ponzi chef and I tend to have things like this knocking around for recipes that I'm playing around with. Okay, so Ina said, linseed oil, would it be okay? Okay, so with the linseed oil, I would give it a taste and just see how flavoursome it is, because I know sometimes it can have quite a nutty flavour. So what you might want to do is, if it does taste a bit too flavoursome, then use it with another oil. So that's essentially what I'm going to be doing today, because I'm not going to use walnut oil on its own. I'm going to pair it up with rapeseed oil, which really doesn't have any flavour at all. Hello, Gino. Oh, sorry, I can't give you any attention now. I've got people there. Sorry, that's Gino. So yes, we're going to be using pine nuts today, but you can use something like sunflower seeds or pumpkin seeds, but the bigger seeds, because we just want to give it more texture, make it look a bit prettier. Also, add some really great nutrition to it as well, which is always a good thing. So Paul said happy St. George's Day. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Happy St. George's Day to you. Okay, so on to our recipe. Really, really, really easy. We're going to start with our jackfruit. And as some of you guys might know from watching me do other jackfruit recipes, I always get the liquid out of it. So jackfruit will have a lot of water in it if you buy it in a tin like this. There we go. And I'm doing two things in one go when I do this. I'm getting the water out, and also I'm crumbling it. Yeah, because we just want it to be into bits. But, you know, as I said earlier, some jackfruit can be a bit tougher. And if it is a bit tougher, and especially like these, like central bits there, they can be a bit tough, then just simply pop them into a chopper attachment of a hand blender, which you guys know I absolutely love, because they can just do really, really great things and really speed everything up in the kitchen for you, which is always a good thing. Always in a rush. Always in a rush to eat. Always in a rush to eat. Hope, thank you for joining us. And she says that she loves jackfruit. Okay, so is it the green immature jackfruit that you like? Or do you like the mature yellow jackfruit? Let me know. Let me know. And yeah, let us know if you've made any recipes with it. So guys, what recipes have you made with jackfruit? Have you made any of our recipes with jackfruit yet? There you go. That's putting you on the spot, isn't it? That's putting you on the spot. Okay, so I'm just going to, there we go, tear this apart. If it tears apart as nicely as this, then it's fine. You don't have to put it into a chopper attachment. You don't have to cut it down anymore. But as I said, you know, if it is a bit tough, then just pop it into a chopper attachment of a hand blender and just give it a little bit of a blitz. And then it will just be into like little shredded bits, which is perfect. You've only ever had green. You've only ever had green. Okay, so we did actually have a little chat earlier about yellow jackfruit as well, and yellow jackfruit is really, really, really lovely. But I actually warned everyone, and I said the tinned yellow jackfruit isn't very nice because it mainly tastes of tin, which isn't very pleasant. And so, you know, it's different with the green jackfruit, because of course with the green jackfruit we're adding other flavours with it anyway. So that will mean that we can't taste the tin. If I tasted it now without any flavour on it, it will probably taste the tin. I'm not going to do that. I love you guys, but I won't do that. I won't do that. No, I can actually kind of like smell the tinniness anyway. So Deborah said she's run out of jackfruit. Oh no, it's banana blossom and alternative. Yes, it is. Thank you for mentioning that actually. I was going to mention that to you guys. Yes, banana blossom is a really, really good substitute for jackfruit. So you can just, I think that you would probably need to pop that into a food processor, chopper attachment, something like that, and just give that a bit of a blitz, because, you know, it's a different shape. It's a different shape to this. So it's not going to become the right shape without you popping it into a food processor or chopper attachment. Richard, thank you for joining us. Karen, she says good morning. Good morning. Well, it's afternoon here now. It's afternoon here now. But good morning anyway. Okay, so we've just got a few of these seeds left. And these seeds, these ones are quite squishy, so it's absolutely fine just to leave them in. I'm just going to give them a bit of a squish, make sure all of that water is out of there. And our last bit as well. And just give my hands a rinse, and we're going to reuse this bowl. Right, want to reuse things as much as possible just to reduce the amount of washing up we're going to be giving ourselves. So, right, okay, so the jackfruit can go into here, and we will just make our mayonnaise quickly. So we've got a nice high-sided jug here, although we're going to be making a really small mixture, It's much better with a mayonnaise, which is, you know, heavy on the oil, mainly oil. It's much better to have a high-sided bowl or jug, because it will spatter. Once it gets to the thick stage, it will spatter, and that is why I'm wearing this as well, because I really don't want to get oil spatters on my clothes. It happens all the time, and it is so annoying. It's the main reason why I have to let clothes go, is because I've got bloody oil on them. So we will try not to let that happen today. One word of warning about our mayonnaise is that sometimes it fails. Don't know why that happens, really don't know why. So whenever we do this in school, we pray to the aquafaba gods that they're going to smile on us today. So really best not to do this on Facebook Live or in front of a crowd of about 200 people, which I've done before at Veg Fest. So everyone has to cross their fingers for me, please. Okay, so I'm going to get my oil ready, and we need 120 mils of oil, which is about half a cup. So I'm going to do half and half. So 60 ml of the walnut oil. There we go. And then 60 ml of the rapeseed oil. The rapeseed oil is going to give us a really, really nice colour as well. Because it's a really nice bright yellow, so it will make the mayonnaise really look like an egg mayonnaise, which you may or may not want. There we go, we've got 120 ml. So we need to get that ready before we get this going. And it's really great if you've got a jug like this to pop it into. That's really going to help when we're adding it to the bigger jug. Okay, so now we need 2 tablespoons of our aquafaba. So just give that a swish round. 1, 2. Okay, pop that to one side. Now, when I'm making a mayonnaise, I always just start off the blender and get it a bit frothy first, and then I add the oil. You'll see that I'm moving the jug around while I'm doing that, so that the aquafaba can actually hit the blades. Okay, now is everybody ready to pray to the aquafaba gods? All in unison, please. Here we go. So I'm just dribbling it in slowly, but there's a constant pour of the oil going down the stick blender. I'm not putting it in too quickly, but not that slowly either. It's a really, really beautiful colour. Really, really happy with that. Angela is crossing her fingers. I hope everybody else is too. Because sometimes mayonnaise can just split. Usually it's down to the heat of the aquafaba. Sometimes if the aquafaba has been left out on the counter too long, that can affect it. So I always just take mine either straight from the can or straight from the fridge. Okay, well, all of your good wishes worked because we have a very lovely thick mayonnaise sauce that is a really beautiful colour. I will bring it up to the camera in a moment and show you guys. Here we go. Where are you? There you are. That is what we're looking for. So nice and thick. It isn't as thick as there was a mayonnaise that I made with you guys before, which was just a mayonnaise. This is a mayonnaise sauce, so it's fine for it to be not as thick as the mayonnaise that we made earlier. Oh, getting oil all over my spoon. There we go. Angela said, sorry, I wasn't paying attention for a bit. Busy praying to the AF gods. Are you using the immersion stick blender like I would blend a soup? My stick blender comes with an alternative whisk attachment. Would that work too? To be honest, I've always, with my mayonnaise, and I've been making it for a long time, I've always just used the regular attachment. So the blade that you would use, let's see if I can show you. This blade that I would use just for, yeah, soup or something like that. You don't need a whisk for this. The mayo looks amazing. It does, and I really, really like the colour. It's this like nice, gentle lemon yellow colour. Really, really beautiful. So now we're going to add our other ingredients. So we're going to add a good whack of salt. And this is one that you will need to taste as you go along. I know that some home chefs can kind of like forget about that. It's something that we make a big deal of in the chefing world. You know, always tasting your food at every stage. But it's, you know, one of those things that we can kind of forget about when we're making food for ourselves at home. Maybe because we're so used to knowing, like, you know, how we want things to be. But there can be differences. There can be differences, especially when you're making a new recipe. You know, it's always good to taste it and taste it and taste it again. Okay, so now I'm just going to pop in some of my lovely whole grain mustard, 2 teaspoons. Of mustard, around 2 teaspoons. You know, this is something you guys can play around with. So we'll just pop that into there. I'm going to pop some Dijon mustard in it as well, because I want the graininess, but also I want that real punch that the Dijon can offer us. Now you can add some vinegar to your recipe as well, but just beware of the fact that the more liquid that you add, you know, it's going to make this more runny. We want this to maintain some sort of thickness. So I'm just going to add 1 teaspoon of that. But as I said, you know, you guys like play around with this. You could use lemon juice instead if you prefer that. You just need some sort of tartness. Ema said, shall I add black salt to the mayo? If you want an eggy taste, then yes, that's a really, really, really great idea. Yeah, definitely do that if you want that eggy taste. But what you might want to do is, rather than just adding black salt itself, add regular salt, get it to that, you know, almost the right level of salt, and then add a pinch of black salt. Because if you only add black salt, then it might just be too eggy, too sulphurous, and that might take over those other flavours that we've got going on in there. Virginia's in the house. Thank you for joining us. Okay, so we did have some people who were asking me, they're going to be cooking along, but they don't like mustard. So if you don't like mustard, you don't have to add it, but you do need something else for flavour. So maybe add something like onion or garlic salt or granules. That would work really, really well. And herbs as well. Tarragon, very, very underused herb, would be lovely in this. Maybe dill as well. Dill is, you know, is a great partner for mayonnaise. Okay, so now I'm going to just taste this. It's very, very nice, but I know that it's going to need more salt, because as I said, this thing right here doesn't have much of a flavour Apart from tin. It has the flavour of tin, as we have established. Oh wow, looks like you're making Yes, I am. I'm making mayonnaise and it's turned out a beautiful colour today. Really, really happy with it. And it's got the walnut oil in there. So Virginia, just to catch you up, I did use a mixture of walnut oil and also rapeseed oil. So I've got this really lovely lemon yellow colour thanks to the rapeseed oil, but I've got this really lovely taste thanks to the walnut oil. And I really try to change my my cooking over time, and really, you know, I do try to use ingredients that can be made in the country that I'm living in, and walnut is one of those things, because in the UK we can grow walnuts, hazelnuts and chestnuts, so I do try and use them as much as possible. So I just added as much of the mayo as I think should go in there, and it's wet enough, and I'm going to leave some to have just by itself. So now let's get our salad plates ready, and I want to show you a trick with lettuce. So I'm going to get us a big bowl. Excuse me for a second. Linseed oil will give you a fishy flavour though. Yeah, it may well do. To be honest, I haven't really used linseed oil in that way before. I've had it as a medicine, you know, a supplement that you would have like every day, but I haven't, you know, made anything like this with it. But whatever flavour that oil tastes of, it will be the really dominant flavour in this. So you really do have to test that out and choose your oil carefully. But I mean, really, just like a blank oil, like sunflower oil or rapeseed oil is a really great starting point, because you've got these other flavours that are going on in it anyway. Okay, let's get a nice big bowl out. I absolutely adore these bowls that I bought at Tiger years ago for like £1 each, but they're brilliant because they're nice and big. I play around with my kombucha in it, you know, when I'm rebottling and stuff like that, because it has this nice little lip here. Good 1 minute clip to the difference between jackfruit and breadfruit. Breadfruit. Thank you, Paul. Always quick off the mark. Right, okay, so I'm just going to shred our lettuce, and of course you guys know how to do this. You guys know how to do this. This isn't what I want to share with you. What I want to share with you is, how do you dry lettuce leaves when you don't have a salad spinner? I don't have a salad spinner, but that's because I know a way to wash your salad and dry it without a salad spinner. So I'm just going to pop some water into this, some cold water. Make sure it's cold, because we don't want to be cooking the lettuce by adding boiling water. Our taps get really, really, really hot here. Okay, so you would, you know, pop this into some water, have your lettuce in some water, and then of course you would want to drain it. But you can't just drain it in a sieve, because it still has bits of water on it. So what we're going to do is just get rid of this excess water. So I've got rid of as much as I could there, and then I get myself a clean tea towel. Pop our lettuce into our clean tea towel. Right, there we go. So basically, you know, if we serve the lettuce as it is now, you wouldn't really be able to taste the dressing. The dressing wouldn't really cling to it. You just like taste the water, and that isn't very nice. We want a lot of like what we do with cooking is imparting flavour. So, you know, water can really take us away from that. So we have our lettuce in our tea towel here. I take up all 4 corners into one hand so that you have this here. And then you can do this outside. You can do, I should probably do this outside. Don't tell Jeff. Okay, don't tell Jeff. Okay. Right, there we go. Okay, so basically, because of the force that is happening there, I'm sure there's some scientific thing for that, but that it means that all of the water is going from the lettuce and into the tea towel and onto my walls and my windows. But you know, for you guys, I'll do that. I have to clean up later, but you know, it's all good. Hope, if you added crumbled nori or breadcrumbs and fried it, you'd have crab cakes. Yes, you would, absolutely. Absolutely, and Virginia's are super clever, yes, our viewers are very, very clever. And I must say that you are all really charming and lovely as well. We're having the best time with sharing these recipes with you guys. All of us are really, really enjoying it. And we're gonna keep on doing it. You know, like beyond this crazy situation, we're working out a way that we can just continue doing it. There we go. Okay, so now I'm just going to add a few more bits and pieces to my salad. Some red pepper for a nice bit of bite and flavour. I think sometimes like salads can be so boring. You know, I grew up in a household where salad was iceberg lettuce, a bit of cucumber and pink tomatoes. And anybody who is my age and living in the UK will know what I mean by pink tomatoes, because for a very long time they were the only type of tomatoes that were available in the UK, and I didn't know that they were meant to be red until I went to Italy. Okay, that's a joke. That is a joke. I didn't know they were meant to be red, but they're just like very pale for the longest time. Okay, so a bit more red pepper. As I said earlier, it goes really, really well with the mayonnaise, but also it just looks a bit more interesting as well. So some on there, some on here. But you can use any salad items you want to use. Radish would be really lovely in this as well. Kind of like similar flavour note to the mustard that we've got in the mayonnaise. We've got our ridged cucumber here, which I mentioned earlier, has a really, really lovely flavour. And I'm just cutting it into really big pieces because I feel really lazy today and I'm quite tired, so you know, there's no fine cutting going on here. There we go. We just need to get a quick, healthy lunch out and a few pine nuts. I got images of me spinning my tea towel and the dog's head spinning. That would be great. That would be great. Yes, yeah. I imagine that they would be quite confused by what was going on there. Okay, so we have our lovely salad here. We can add just a bit of salt. Does your dog eat lettuce? That's a very, very good question. My cat eats peanut butter. He absolutely adores peanut butter. And dates and hummus as well. Okay, so I'm just going to add a little bit of vinegar to this. And this is a really good tip. Something that I kind of like take for granted, but might be really useful for you guys. Pop it into your into the lid and do it that way, and that way you're much more controlled over how much vinegar you're adding, because you know, quite often like we see chefs on telly and they do the whole like put the thumb in front of the thing and then we try and do that and far too much comes out. I would rather just be a bit more careful and not look so chefy and just use the lid. And I do the same for oil as well. So you know, say for example, if you have some oil on the table and some olive oil for your salad, then I just pop it into the lid, you know, and it doesn't look that fancy, but I don't really care. As long as like my salad isn't drowned in oil, that's the best, you know, that's the most important thing. Okay. Right, is that balsamic? No. So the oil that I use is cider vinegar, because the cider vinegar went into the mayonnaise, so I want to have the same thing. And I just use some walnut oil. The walnut oil is what went into the jackfruit mayonnaise. And so we can just pop this onto our salads here. There we go. There we go. And so, you know, in that recipe we have the acid, the cider vinegar that will cut through the oiliness of the oil, because mayonnaise is predominantly oil, but this, you know, has that sharpness and it cuts through it. Same with the mustard as well. That cuts through it really, really well. But as I said earlier, you can use lemon juice if you prefer. Let's just see if you guys have got any questions. You got any questions? That was easy, right? That was easy. So we have like a little bit of this remaining on the side. Quite like to have this just on its own as well, you know, but we've added enough into with the jackfruit. Let me just see if my seasoning is enough. And if you guys make this, you will know what I mean. You will add salt to it, and then you'll taste it and you'll be like, oh, actually it needs more salt than I thought it did. So just beware of that. But this is like super, super, super tasty. And as I said, you know, you guys can add whatever herbs that you want to use, anything like that. Put some like little finely chopped cornichons in it, or capers. Be lovely, really, really lovely. So let's just bring this closer to you guys so you can see. It would make a great sandwich filling as well, or indeed a filling for a jacket potato as well. Be really, really lovely, and that will keep really well in the fridge for quite a few days. So you know, it's good to make up a big batch of it, and then you've got it for sandwiches and dinners and whatever you have. So thank you for joining me today. Yeah, it's been so appreciated as always. Sorry, I'm a little bit tired today, but still working on getting those recipes up onto our website. We will let you know when they're all up. I'll make an announcement on in the community hub and give you guys a link, but it's the same website as always, which is theveganchefschool.com. As you guys know, we've just launched our online courses on there as well, so you can go there, and we've got 50% off to everybody who has been watching us on Facebook, because you've been so lovely. So if you do want to get 50% off, then the code is somewhere. Is it down there? I think it's down there. So yeah, so you can use that. But yeah, let us know if there are any recipes we can make for you guys. So we're taking a lot of suggestions, a lot of things that you guys want to see veganised. You just want an alternative recipe. You've got ingredients in the back of your cupboards that you want to know what to do with. We are there for you, and we will continue doing these lives every day at midday. So join us tomorrow, and I'm trying to remember what day it is tomorrow. I think it's Nikki tomorrow. It's Friday, right? Yeah, so join Nikki. She will be teaching you guys a recipe. She will also be talking about nutrition a lot, because Nikki is not only a fantastic chef, but she is also qualified as a nutritionist. So she gives loads of great information about vegan nutrition and a really tasty recipe as well. So how amazing is that? Thank you for all of your thank yous. And thank you for joining me today, and have a lovely day.